Hello, hello! Today we're counting down the absolute best RPGs on Nintendo Switch games that earned perfect scores and deserve every bit of praise. These are the titles that kept me glued to my screen for hundreds of hours, and I'm breaking down exactly why they're worth your time. Let's jump in! Final Fantasy X/10-2. This HD remaster brings two incredible adventures to Switch, starting with Tidus's journey through the world of Spira. The turn-based combat uses the CTB system, where you can see the turn order and plan strategies accordingly, making every battle feel like a puzzle. You're traveling with Yuna and her guardians to defeat Sin, this massive creature terrorizing the world, and the emotional weight hits hard without me spoiling anything. The sphere grid lets you customize each character's progression in really creative ways. 10-2 switches things up completely with a job-changing system and a lighter tone. Plus, it's got one of the fastest battle systems in the series. The soundtrack is legendary, the voice acting holds up surprisingly well, and both games together offer easily 100+ hours of content. Blitzball alone became an obsession for me. These games defined JRPGs for a generation, and they're still absolutely worth playing today.
Hey, eyes on me!
Xenoblade Chronicles II. This massive JRPG puts you in control of Rex, a salvager who bonds with a legendary blade named Pyra, and together, you're searching for Elysium, humanity's lost paradise. The combat system is real-time but strategic. You're auto-attacking while positioning yourself for arts, building up elemental combos, and coordinating chain attacks with your party for massive damage. Each character has different blades that completely change their playstyle, and collecting them becomes genuinely addictive. The world is built on the backs of giant creatures called Titans, and exploring these diverse regions feels incredible. The story tackles heavy themes about purpose and coexistence, with characters that grow on you over the 80 to 100-hour campaign. The English voice acting is divisive, but I loved its charm. Side quests can be grindy, but the core experience of bonding with your blades and mastering the combat kept me hooked. It's epic in every sense.
Our bond makes my power boundless.
Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. The Zodiac Age version is the definitive way to experience Ivalice, a world where politics and war drive the narrative more than typical Chosen One stories. You follow Vaughn and a cast of sky pirates and resistance fighters trying to liberate their kingdom from an empire. The Gambit system is genius. You're programming your party's AI with conditional commands, essentially creating your own combat scripts. Combat happens in real time on the field, with no screen transitions, making exploration flow seamlessly into battles. The job system in this version lets you assign 2 jobs per character, creating tons of build variety. Hunts offer some of the toughest optional bosses in any FNF game. The world feels lived in and mature, with incredible art direction that still looks gorgeous. It's less character-driven than other FNF games, but the strategic depth and freedom in how you approach everything made me feel like I was truly commanding a party. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. This remake brings back everything that made the original a masterpiece: the humor, the creativity, and that perfect blend of RPG mechanics with platforming. Mario's searching for the crystal stars while battling the X-Nauts, and the writing is legitimately hilarious with tons of personality. The turn-based combat uses timed button presses for attacks and guards, making every encounter engaging rather than passive. Your partners aren't just damage dealers, they've got unique abilities for puzzles and exploration. The badge system lets you customize Mario's abilities, whether you want to focus on damage, defense, or utility. Each chapter takes you to wildly different locations with their own stories and mechanics. You're wrestling as the Great Gonzalez one chapter, then solving mysteries on a train the next. The audience mechanic adds flavor to battles. Octopath Traveler II. This sequel improves on the original in every way, with 8 protagonists, each with their own storyline and unique path actions that let you interact with the world differently. The combat uses a break system, where you're analyzing enemy weaknesses and saving up BP to unleash devastating attacks at the right moment. Latent powers give each character a unique ultimate ability that can turn battles around. The job system returns with new classes, letting you mix and match abilities for crazy combinations. Day and night cycles affect NPCs and path actions, adding strategy to exploration. The HD 2D art style is stunning. 16-bit sprites on 3D backgrounds with gorgeous lighting effects. Each character's story is self-contained, but they intersect in meaningful ways, and the final chapter brings everything together. Boss fights are genuinely challenging and require actual strategy.
My spear shall strike through!
Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, the game that started it all, now with improved visuals and the future-connected epilogue. Shulk's journey begins with revenge, but evolves into something way bigger as you uncover the truth about the Monado and the war between Bionis and Mechonis. The combat is real-time, with arts on cooldowns, and the Monado gives you visions of the future during battle. You're literally seeing a party member about to die and scrambling to change fate. Positioning matters for damage and aggro management. The world is breathtaking. You're exploring the bodies of 2 dead gods, and the sense of scale is insane. Side quests build the Colony 6 reconstruction and NPC relationships, which actually matter. The story deals with cycles of revenge and what it means to forge your own future. Voice acting is stellar, music is iconic, and the pacing keeps you invested through the 70-plus hour campaign. This is where Monolith Soft proved they could craft emotional epics. Dragon Quest XI's, Echoes of an Elusive Age. This is classic JRPG storytelling at its finest. You're the Luminary, the reincarnation of a legendary hero, and you're gathering companions to stop the Dark One. The turn-based combat is traditional but polished, with pep powers adding team-up attacks when your characters get powered up during battle. You can switch between 3D and 2D modes anytime, which is wild. The world is charming and colorful, filled with puns and genuinely likable characters. Eric, Jade, Sylvando, the whole cast has personality and development. Post-game content is massive, with additional story acts that add serious depth. The orchestral soundtrack is beautiful, monster designs are iconic Toriyama work, and there's something comforting about the whole experience. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it perfects traditional JRPG formula. Crafting, casinos, side quests, there's so much to do. Easily 100+ hours for completionists. Fire Emblem: Three Houses. This tactical RPG changed the series by adding a school setting where you're a professor choosing one of 3 houses to lead. The monastery sections have you building relationships with students through support conversations and tea time, which directly impacts combat. The tactical battles are classic Fire Emblem turn-based grid combat, where positioning, weapon triangles, and permadeath create tension. The calendar system adds pressure as you balance teaching, exploring, and battle prep. Each house offers a completely different story perspective on the same war, and the route you choose determines who you fight alongside and against. Characters you trained might face you as enemies later, which hits emotionally. Classes are flexible, and you can train students in any direction. Divine Pulse lets you rewind turns, making it more accessible without removing challenge. Combat arts, gambits, and battalion systems add tactical depth. 3 complete routes mean 150+ hours of content, and New Game Plus makes replays smoother.
Is that all?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The culmination of everything Monolith Soft learned, this game follows Noah and Mio, soldiers from opposing nations with 10-year lifespans fighting an endless war. The combat merges ideas from previous games. You're switching between attackers, defenders, and healers in real time, while building up chain attacks and fusion abilities. Interlinking lets pairs combine into Ouroboros forms for powerful attacks. The class system is incredibly flexible, with characters learning master arts from any class. The world of Ionios is hauntingly beautiful, and exploring it while uncovering the truth about the war kept me completely absorbed. The story tackles themes of mortality, meaning, and breaking cycles. Character writing is phenomenal. Every hero you meet adds depth. Side quests actually matter for world building. The soundtrack is emotional and epic. It's easily 80+ hours for the main story, with tons more in postgame. This is Monolith Soft at their absolute peak.
That was over way too soon.
Hear that, Noah? Lance wants something a bit meatier.
Dragon Quest I and II HD 2D Remake brings back the roots of classic JRPG design while smoothing out the rough edges that might feel outdated today. Exploration still revolves around traveling across a connected overworld, visiting towns, and venturing into dangerous dungeons, but movement feels faster and progression is more intuitive thanks to modern quality-of-life features. Combat sticks to simple turn-based commands like attacking, casting spells, and managing items, yet it gains depth through better balance, multi-enemy encounters in the first game, and a full party system in the second. The HD 2D presentation gives the world a strong sense of atmosphere, with detailed lighting and layered environments that make familiar locations feel fresh. The story remains focused on classic themes of legacy and heroism, following descendants of a legendary figure as they face rising threats.
Not today!
There you go, 10 absolute masterpieces that prove the Switch is the ultimate RPG machine. Whether you want hundreds of hours of content or classic experiences reimagined, these games deliver. What's your favorite RPG on Switch? Drop it in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more.